Assalamu alaikum, guys. Listen, I had fully planned to continue last week's video, like a theme of like weddings and different things, and I intend to do that like next week, inshallah. But I wasn't really feeling like my best today, and I wasn't really in the mood for filming anyway. So I decided like, khalas, I'm going to delay the video for a few days. But then I saw something online that really irritated me, and I decided I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I want to talk about it right now while it is still bothering me. So essentially, I found myself on Reddit because people are always telling me that I should look on Reddit because there's a lot of information about Jordan. You get to get a feel for different opinions and different things that are going on in the city and in the country. So I decided like, okay, today I'm going to download Reddit and have a look. And everything that I read was extremely negative. It was either mocking Jordan, complaining about Jordan, speaking from a very kind of Orientalist perspective about women and about men, and a lot of people talking about stuff that I feel like they didn't really have any kind of basis to be speaking about, you know, like they didn't really know what they were talking about. They just made snap judgments about the country and about the culture, which I know happens because, one, I did it when I first came here, and two, I speak to a vast multitude of different people, and I talk to a lot of people who are not happy here and don't really want to be here for various different reasons, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with voicing that you don't want to be somewhere or expressing discontent because you want things to change. That's fine. But what I see over and over again is people complaining for the sake of complaining and then getting locked into these very negative kind of circles. And I know it very well because I did it, and part of the whole reason for starting my YouTube channel was because one day I woke up and I looked at myself and my life and the people around me, and I realized that there was a lot of negativity and that I could take steps towards getting rid of that negativity. You know, I realized that it's not Jordan that's the problem, it's my attitude towards Jordan. So yeah, things like infrastructure, lack of infrastructure annoyed me. Certain traditions inside the families, certain aspects of the society, aspects of the country, aspects of the government, all different things were annoying me, and I felt like this could never be my home. Yes, that might come as a surprise to a lot of you who, you know, are always saying that I'm more Jordanian than the Jordanians, but I'm not. And I am British, and it was a culture shock for me, and I had a really hard time in the beginning. But what I did was I just surrounded myself with that negativity, and I breathed in that negativity. I couldn't see that there was another side of Jordan, that there's another way of looking at things. So the first thing that I decided to do to break this, for the sake of my mental health, for the sake of my family, for the sake of my children, was to decide that whenever I see something that I don't like, to look at it rather that I don't understand it and try and get to the bottom of like what is the reasoning behind this thing that is different from what I'm used to? What is the reasoning behind this thing that makes no sense to me, that's illogical to me? And life started to get a lot easier after then. And I think that the problem is that people get locked into this thing. They surround themselves with people that have the similar ideas to them because you get into like a comfort zone. You're not comfortable where you are, so you surround yourself with other people who aren't comfortable with where they are. And then you get together and all you talk about is how uncomfortable you are with your lives. And, you know, it happens too much. And I think that a lot of the time, people who get locked into these things, they're so busy looking outside of themselves, everything that's wrong with the world, that they're not looking inside and looking at what's wrong with them. Because at the end of the day, everything comes down to your attitude. If you make the conscious decision, and it's not easy, it's hard, if you make yourself look at things differently, if you make yourself question, that you can change your whole mindset, and you can see, well, actually there is some sense in that, you know, if you put it into this context. But what we're always trying to do, especially in this super westernized world, and, you know, the Westerners here, what we're always trying to do is like decontextualize the Arab experience or the Jordanians and like we're putting it into our own experiences. We're putting things that don't make sense to us and we're applying them to our own experiences. It's really silly because it's never going to make sense to you. And I think that you really have to make a conscious decision that I'm going to kind of figure this out inside its context. I think that something that we find difficult to do is to accept that some people just don't have the same values as us, and some people see things differently as us in the West. And that doesn't mean that they are wrong, and it doesn't mean that we are right. I can't make everyone love Jordan as much as I do, because some people just aren't going to. And some people they've made their decision that they came here knowing that they were never going to love it. And you make up your mind about something, you know. You don't even realize it's a prejudice that you have. I think a lot of the time what we do is we have already made up our minds. We've already have this prejudice. It's going to be like this. I'm going to have this experience. And that's what I did when I came to Jordan. I had the idea that all women are oppressed, that it's backwards, I'm not going to be able to have these same experiences, I'm not going to have the same lifestyle, and that I'm just going to be miserable there. And I was for a couple of years, because that's only what I chose to look at. That's only what I chose to see. And actually, when I challenged myself, I realized that it's not actually always like that. And there are a range of different experiences here in Jordan. So when people, you know, and I do it too, I talk about Jordan, and I talk about an aspect of Jordan, because Jordan is so unbelievably diverse. And people in the comments are always telling me that. They're always saying like, wow, I'm Jordanian and I didn't know that we did this, or I didn't know about that, or I don't have the same experience, or I don't agree with this because this isn't how people around me do it. You know, it's diverse. What I hear all the time is, Jordan is ugly. I'm sorry, but like, if you choose to see something as ugly, you're going to see it as ugly, because I see Jordan as so unbelievably beautiful. Even on my street, there are views and people say like, is that in Jordan? That's not in Jordan. I'm like, it is in Jordan. It's on my street. It's outside my front door, but I chose to take a picture of that thing because I know that that's beautiful. You know, if you choose to take a picture of the gutter, what are you going to see? So all I want to say in this video is that I know that there are people who aren't happy, and I fully respect that. And people have situations that are terrible and that would enrage and upset and traumatize anybody. But what I'm saying that is, sometimes or often you have the choice to look at something in a good way, or you have a choice to look at something in a bad way. And if you choose the latter, you are always going to be miserable. And it would be better for you and for everyone around you if you chose to start challenging those feelings. My rant is over. I will be back next week with a fun video. Ma salama, guys. Stay happy and stay healthy.